Hello again, children. Frank Galligan here. Now, before we do our wee exercise today, I want to show you the email to which you will be sending your various poems. That's from another video that you're familiar with me, and a wee song today, and importantly, an environmental song or an eco song, because we're all concerned about the world's situation at the moment vis-a-vis the environment. I'll elaborate on that a wee minute. But in the first instance, can you see that okay? info@artscare.co.uk. info@artscare.co.uk. You have that written down? Good on you. Now, the first thing I'm going to get you to do after a wee while, and I'm sure you're familiar with doing it, is brainstorm. I'm sure you often brainstorm in school. But brainstorm about what, I hear you ask? Well, we're going to write an eco song. And you can send that in, obviously. And you all have phones nowadays, you can record a verse or two or whatever. It's fairly easily done, or you get somebody to help you out there. Back in 1962, a wonderful guy called Bob Dylan, who's still around, and he won a Nobel Prize a couple of years ago, great singer-songwriter. Mum and Dad may have had the pleasure, or maybe more likely Granny and Grandad, hearing or seeing him. But he wrote this song, it became an anthem. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. And this verse is particularly significant in terms of what we're going to do today. Yes, how many years can a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? Yes, how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, how many times can a man turn his head, pretending he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Now, recently Bob Dylan had two verses in the song. The album was called Freewheelin' back in, as I say, 62. He added a third, which we don't need to go over today. As I say, what I want you to do is to write a song like that and keep the chorus, keep the refrain. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. You can Google the song. Other people have sung it as well, just to get used to the melody. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. And what I want you to do in the first instance, as I said earlier, is to brainstorm. Think about all the matters that concern us nowadays in terms of the environment. All because of climate change. The dreaded climate change. And what does that mean? And how is it affecting us? Isn't it causing a lot of pollution? Isn't it? Absolutely. So pollution's a big deal. By the way, I'm showing you colour cards here. They're very, very handy for brainstorming. I needn't tell you, you've probably done it 1,000 times at school. I just find it very, very handy to use them. It kind of focuses the mind. You have young minds, they're easily focused compared to mine. We're very concerned with extinction. So when you're brainstorming, draw up a list maybe of 6 to 8 animals on land or in sea that are in danger of extinction. Why this list will be useful will become clear when I sing a few verses of a wonderful song that a school wrote for me in Northern Ireland only in the last 2 years. For example, what about the Amazon rainforest? Why are we concerned about it? About all the trees being cut down, all the burning that's going on? How does it affect the world around us? So there's one example. This one, which is something I tend to have a lot of opinions about plastic because I saw an incredible documentary once. When I say incredible, very, very sad, and I'm sure you've watched a few programs yourselves about what plastic in the ocean is doing to the wonderful dolphins and the tortoises, etc., etc. Dreadful altogether. Do you know that there's an island, I think it's near Hawaii, or maybe it's one of the Hawaiian Islands, that is basically a plastic island, covered densely in plastic because of the way that the tides and the oceans carry the plastic. And there's I saw another place in West Africa, and because people holiday in the Canary Islands, children, I'm sure some of you have been there, and they leave their flip-flops behind, or they drift away in the sea. And this place in West Africa, the beaches are covered in flip-flops. The only good side of that story is that some local people decided, let's use them. So they started manufacturing covers for Android and iPhones, mobile phones basically, out of the flip-flops. But I'm not being light-hearted about that really, because plastic is a big problem. And then, of course, melting ice caps. I think it might have been a David Attenborough program I watched, Blue Planet or whatever. I'm sure some of you have seen it. It's so sad. You see the mammy polar bear on an iceberg and the baby polar bear on what seems to be the same iceberg, and then suddenly crack, and the portion that the wee polar bear is on starts to drift away from the mother. So sad, and you just wonder what happens thereafter, and how does that end, huh? It's quite something, isn't it? So that's just some examples of what you can be doing in the brainstorming. I just find it very, very useful just to have a wee bit of guidance, by getting your markers out and your coloured cards and jotting down a load of that stuff. And if a few of you are working together, as you have been doing on the poetry, that's even better, sure. You can share ideas. Now, as I said earlier, I worked with many schools over many, many years. This school in the last couple of years in Northern Ireland really, really worked hard over a period of weeks that I was with them to write their own eco song. And it's a tremendous, tremendous song written by children of your own age. I'm going to sing it for you now, and just to give you some examples of the wonderful verses, the wonderful imagination that can happen as a result of a wee bit of inspiration and, very importantly, perspiration as well. How many trees will be burned to the ground before we can breathe no more? How many monkeys will swing in the trees before they all burn as well? How many times can the sloth still hang on before it falls to the ground? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times can the turtles still swim before they're lost in the tide? How many crabs will all scuttle along before their shells are all cracked? How many seals will all swim in our sea before they're all dead and gone? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many ash clouds must float in the sky before it comes down as black rain? How many glaciers melt every year before the polar bears die? And how many bags must we all throw away before we ruin our world? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. And this verse is incredible. This is where the children start thinking about where they go every day and where you'll be going in the next month, please God. How many times will the school bell still ring until we hear them no more? How many children must struggle to breathe in the foul atmosphere? How many times can we walk in fresh air before the smoke chokes us all? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. So I hope you get quite a bit of inspiration from the school's eco song, and indeed from Bob Dylan's original song, to pen a few verses similarly. And look at the original song, How Many Times. You can use that as well as a refrain of blowing in the wind. And don't forget, as I said at the outset of this video, very importantly, can you read that okay? info@artscare.co.uk. info@artscare.co.uk. So looking forward to seeing all the results and hearing them being sung, or if you're not a singer, if you don't have a singing voice, just use it as a poem and read them. And it'll be a huge and integral part of Artscare's wonderful summer festival. So until the next time, this is Frank Galligan saying bye for now and good songwriting.